All right, what up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Dr. Marni, who is an award-winning and celebrated author, speaker, and educator. Dr. Marni, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Tim. Thank you so much for having me on Living the Dream.
Of course, thanks for coming on, and we'd like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. I am an author um, of a spiritual fiction that's doing quite well called God Came to My Garage Sale. And in addition, I am the author of a 5-book series called True Deceit False Love. But prior to that, I was a high school special education teacher. I retired after 35 years in the Chicago suburbs. And 12 of those years, I was a university graduate school adjunct professor. So that's a little bit about me.
There we go. There we go. And so, do you write for fun, or are there some other things that you guys like?
Oh, I do a lot of other things for fun, but writing, I really love to write. It's very healing, very therapeutic, very interesting for me. But I moved from a lifetime in the Chicago suburbs to the Caribbean. So I've been here for the last 3 years, and for fun, I love to snorkel in the ocean and hike the rainforest.
There we go. There we
Yeah.
go. What is the most interesting animal you've seen in the rainforest?
Well, I would say a boa constrictor snake, and I have caught since I've lived here, I have caught 23 of them.
How
And
long are they?
they vary in size depending on how old they are, but the longest is a 10-footer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I never had that experience in the Chicago suburbs. I might have seen a gardener snake here and there.
Yeah.
But no, I've got boas. I've got boas, and they're actually not native to my island where I live. I'm in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They were brought over, and they're really an invasive species. But yeah, I've that's the most interesting uh creature that I have seen, although there are other creatures here. I'm in the rainforest. So even today, right at the pool when I was swimming, there was a very, very big bug. I don't know the name of it. I should look it up. I just know it is the talking bug because it makes so much noise. But yeah, it's about the size of my hand. So, it's it's never a dull moment here. Never a dull moment.
Yeah, no, for sure. There we go. Just curious, how do you catch a snake? Like, I feel like that thing could like wrap itself around you and then just,
Yes, yeah, because they're constrictors. They do, but I think I have 6 different snake tongs. They're very long, and I've gotten very proficient at using them. And I've learned that you've got to kind of catch them near their head and then they will wrap around the tongs. And then what I do is, with the help of my partner, and he doesn't like to actually catch them, but he helps me catch them. We put it in a dark box, like one of those plastic Home Depot boxes or something, and then I call the snake whisperer, who comes out. I call him the snake whisperer, but he's from DPNR, and they track the snakes that, especially on the west end of the island where I live, they really want to have a running count of how many are there. So I turn it over to Dr. Coles.
there we go.
Yeah,
Amazing. You learn something
yeah,
new every day.
yeah, definitely.
Well, awesome. Tell us a bit more about your motivation. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
I just am a happy person, and I just believe in life and learning. And, every day is a new adventure. So I really wake up with an attitude of gratitude. I have so much to be thankful for in my life. And, I think that's what keeps me going. I certainly have a lot of literary projects going on with my writing, and, lately a lot of podcast interviews and speaking engagements and book signings. So I always have some projects going on in the literary field, that are always interesting. And then I'm meeting such neat people, and so I just have a zest for life.
There we go. There we go. I love it.
Yeah.
Dreams and goals now. What is your vision for your life? So you're retired, you're an author.
Yeah.
What's your vision for your life?
Well, I feel like I'm kind of living my created vision. I never really set out to move to the Caribbean. It just is how everything kind of planned out. But if I had a dream that I would like to focus on right now, I would say I would love for my award-winning book, God Came to My Garage Sale, to become a movie. And I've been contacted and I'm in talks with people regarding it, you know, going to the big screen. And so I would love to see that happen because it is a message of hope and inspiration, of looking at signs and synchronicities of the universe and being open to the possibilities of amazing things happening. And so I see this as a movie, and I think, especially in this day and age, we can all use some hope and inspiration. So I suppose my dream would be to have my award-winning book become a blockbuster movie.
There we go. I love it. I
It's a
love it.
big dream. It's a big dream, but it might happen. I'm trying to manifest it.
Sounds like you're already well on your way, given that you're in talks.
Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah.
Awesome. So Get God Came to My Garage Sale to become a movie. Tell us more about, is it True Deceit, False Love?
Yeah, I have a 5-book series called True Deceit False Love, and that addresses something very, very different. Although I believe spirituality is interwoven into everything that we do. But True Deceit False Love is a 5-book series, prominently endorsed, but provides information and a creative response to dealing with family stuff, domestic abuse, narcissism, parental alienation, intergenerational family trauma, some heavy duty, can be often negative, experiences. But at the same time, we're all living life and we're here to learn lessons and to work out, these relationship dynamics. And so my 5-book series provides resources, poetry, a survivor's workbook, and even a word search puzzle book, which just made a bestseller. Which, I mean, it made this bestseller list, which just surprised me. Out of the 5 books, I wouldn't think that that would have been the one to make bestseller, but it did. Obviously, some people are resonating with, needing to learn about family issues and to work through it in a real creative way, a different approach.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And so that is more of a creative book series. Like it's not the traditional five story book. It's
Right, right.
got some workbooks and stuff in there. Do you have a vision for that? Or have you kind of just, I've written it, it's impacting people how I wanted to, and I'm happy?
Yes and no. I am writing a 6th book in the series. That'll probably be my final book, but it is already, I've gotten a lot of feedback from influencers in the abuse recovery community, many of which who have endorsed my book, some major players that, you know, they're spreading the word, and they're finding that, people need a variety of different approaches to deal with trauma and family challenges and relationship issues, even relationships at work. It doesn't have to be a marriage or family. It could be with friends. And we're all trying to kind of find our way and be as authentic as we can with our relationships. Many people are finding they have to put up some healthy boundaries, when they get to a point in their life when they're like, is this relationship serving either one of us? And so you have to really make some decisions. And it's important to be real and to be honest and to really resonate with what is authentic to you. Like, I don't know how much you've told your audience, but I know that you're getting married, and that is a big, big step. And you want to hope that the person you are marrying, that you are on the same page with so many things. And that's why it's good to really focus on your values and see if they are the same as the person you want to spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a journey. It's a journey, though. And I wish you so much luck. And I wish you well. And I hope it all just turns out like you had planned.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But yeah, helping people navigate those relationships, it really is key because when you think about life, nothing really happens without a relationship. Like if you were just in isolation, like
Mhm.
there wouldn't really be food to eat, there wouldn't be homes to live in, there wouldn't be cars to drive, there wouldn't be
Right.
roads to drive on. Like all of it is some sort of relationship. And whether it's a
Yeah.
colleague, an intimate relationship, or just a strictly professional relationship like business to business, like there's still that people interaction. And so
Mhm.
I'm sure your series really helps out with that, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
it seems to be helping a lot of people. It was very healing for me, and just enjoyable to write, and was a nice transition from writing the spiritual fiction. But I'm now writing a lot for magazines, and I'm being contacted to contribute essays and blogs, and that's pretty cool. That there's interest out there to hear what other people have to say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love it. Well, if there were one or two people that you could meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take the next step towards these dreams and goals of getting God Came to My Garage Sale to become a movie, who would this person be and how would they help you?
Well, I have some specific names of
Perfect.
people, but I'm too afraid to say them because I don't want to jinx it. But I also don't want to put myself in a position where if a different person would come along, that I would have already kind of put it out there who is the main person I would want. So trying to be very careful with what
I
I
gotcha.
say. I would love to meet someone who resonates with my story of an atheist woman, has to have a garage sale, has spiritual miracles that happen that make her question, is there more to this earth? I would love to meet, I don't know, screenwriter, movie producer, director, someone who would resonate with that story, a story of hope and inspiration. And I have some other ideas of how I would like to see the story play out, a little bit before and a little bit after. Because I like to kind of think of my story, God Came to My Garage Sale, as the life review part of a larger story. So if I could meet anyone to further that goal along, I would like the movie producer, director, screenwriter, someone along those lines who really is passionate about what they do, who's passionate about inspirational messages, and
Mhm.
would see value in my book and would maybe like the title God Came to My Garage Sale as being kind of catchy, that you know um that they could make that happen.
Absolutely. There we go. So, screenwriter, director, or movie producer that resonates with your story.
Let's put it out there. Yeah.
There we go. And what are the most important one or two things that everyday people can do to really help you accomplish your dreams and goals? So you meet Sally at the grocery store, and
Oh,
Sally is like, Marnie, how can I help you? What would you say to her?
well, gosh, I never thought about that. I would just say, you know, if they resonate with the story, if they're interested in it, just to let other people know about it, to pass the word around. And actually, that's happening all the time. My book has actually become a book club favorite, which you know I shouldn't be surprised about it because it is an easy to read book, and it's very engaging, and there's a lot people can talk about when they've read it or after they've read it. But I have found that my book is now around the nation and even international as far as a book club. In fact, just last week, someone ordered 10 copies for their book club. So it's very, very cool. So I would just say, the grassroots effort without making the effort, if it was an authentic kind of natural way to get the story out there and create interest, I think eventually it will get into the right hands, and the message could, have more of a global reach.
Hmm. I love it. I love it. So just keep passing the story around, word of mouth, hosting the book
Right.
clubs, all that
And
stuff.
I would tell Sally to just try to tell Harry about it. So when Harry meets Sally, they can talk about my book.
There we go. There
Are
we
you
go.
too young to know about When Harry Met Sally?
See, I knew it was a reference to something.
Okay, so you're too young. You're too young. So it is you're going to have to watch this movie. It's a very cool movie, When Harry Met Sally. I don't want to even give it away. It's hysterical. And it's one of those movies that transcends time. So you're going to have to just make a note of it, When Harry Met Sally. And I'm not going to say too much more. Just watch the movie. It's pretty fun.
Who plays Harry and who plays Sally? Do you think I'll know?
Well, I do. No, I do. But I don't want to give everything away. So,
Okay, okay. Sounds good.
Meg Ryan is Sally. Billy Crystal is Harry. Do you know who Billy Crystal is?
I don't know who either of
Oh
them.
my gosh. You got to watch the movies. So, yeah, those are the two stars.
There we go.
Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan, When Harry Met Sally.
Awesome. I'll have to
You
go.
started it. I mean, you said Sally, and of course, Sally goes along with Harry. So,
Obviously.
yes.
Awesome. Well, now we're going to jump into our Thriving Three. And our
Okay.
first question is, what is your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
I would say my favorite book is Gift from the Sea by Anne Moreau Lindbergh.
Mm.
And she was the wife of Charles Lindbergh, who is famous many, many, many years ago for transatlantic flights. So, crossing the ocean. And they made, they were very famous anyway, but then they also unfortunately made the news because their child was kidnapped and murdered. And it, of course, made headlines. There were, what do they call it? Ransom threats and all that type of thing. But what's so cool about Anne Moreau Lindbergh and her writing is, everyday people can relate to her, even though she comes from extreme wealth and extreme privilege. And so when she wrote this book, A Gift from the Sea, it was when she was at her beach house and she spent a lot of time alone. And every chapter is the name of a different shell. But what she writes about is just so profound, but at the same time, it's so simple. And now that I'm living by the sea, by the Caribbean Sea, I'm always coming in contact with shells, and it always just makes me think about, her writing. And then I actually have so many of her books. Back when I was in the Chicago suburbs, I would go to the library and check out books. And then when I really found something I liked, I would first try to go to Goodwill or Half Price Books or, somewhere like that to see if I could find some of the books I like. Because I was always on a budget, but I do have a collection of her works, of her diaries, of her different journals, her different thoughts on various topics. So Anne Moreau Lindbergh, Gift from the Sea is my favorite book.
There we go. There we go. I'm have to go pick it up and read it. What is one way you like to take care of yourself?
There are many ways to take care of myself, and I've really learned that self-care is so important. I would say you're asking me one way. Because I live in the rainforest, I have an extensive organic farm and garden, even hydroponics. So one way I take care of myself is eating farm to table as much as I can. So I grow my own vegetables and I cook them up in the pan. And that's, we don't have like usual kind of traditional big box grocery stores. We have smaller markets, but we also have a weekly farmers market that's on year round because, we have the 4 seasons here: summer, 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 and summer. And so, even though there's different fruits and vegetables at the various different summer seasons, I love to eat fresh and organic food, not processed, you know. So that's one big way I take care of myself.
There we go. There we go. Does the farm to table ever become cumbersome, like going out, picking the vegetables and bringing them back in and chopping them up? Or I feel like it's just like going to the store, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's not cumbersome at all. It's actually very exciting to see things grow. And, I'm growing things like okra, and I never grew okra before. Back when I was in the Chicago suburbs, we were famous for growing zucchini. Neighbors would have so much zucchini, they would just give it to everyone.
Yeah.
And that's something I haven't been able to grow very well here. But we do have a certain type of pumpkin that is pretty awesome and grows here. But I don't know. I'm still just fascinated when, all of a sudden, I'm growing something. And so nothing is cumbersome. I feel very blessed to have this opportunity to be able to grow my own vegetables. And then we also have what's called a hydroponics farm. And that's a little bit different than your regular garden. It's kind of a structure that's built up kind of at the height of a table, and it's all kind of PVC tubes, and
Uh,
water and nutrients go through that. But you work on growing. It's mainly for lettuce, but we grow bok choy, we grow parsley, cilantro, tomatoes, various types of lettuces, arugula, that type of thing. I don't grow spinach there because in my regular garden, I have so much spinach. I mean, I am picking spinach every day for a smoothie or for a salad, or, to mix into a soup or something like that. But the hydroponics farm, that was something new to learn.
yeah.
And it's very, very cool. It's unbelievable, the fresh, huge heads of lettuce that we get to be able to, eat for lunch and dinner.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. Well, that's so cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. And what is one action step that you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to meet that screenwriter, director, or movie producer that's going to make your book a movie?
Well, I'm doing a few action steps, even though a lot has already kind of happened and is in the works. Until I, have a deal on the table, I'm going to continue to reach out. So I actually had a pretty synchronistic situation happen to me at the beach the other day, where I was trying to manifest the book being a movie. And I was praying to God to give me a sign. And we only had like 5 minutes left before this beautiful beach called Sandy Point Beach. It was about to close. And I had just, sat up. I was still in the water, but I had been really trying to manifest this. Over the embankment comes this gentleman who actually looks like Jesus. I mean, that's who I felt it was. Turns out he is a priest. And it turns out he's only been on the island about half a year. And I didn't even say anything about a movie. I just said, in our talking, we talked about God. I talked about my experience with the Catholic Church and being a lector. I talked about my background of being an atheist. I talked about how I'm really not into organized religion right now. I really prefer just to be spiritual, and I believe, God is everywhere. And I told him about my book, and I said, all I did was say to him, I would love for it to continue to reach a wide audience. He says, well, why don't you think about it being a movie? And here is someone you should contact. So here I was praying for it and trying to manifest it. This man who looks like Jesus caught my attention. He actually came into the water right next to me. We got to talking just a little bit. We only had a few minutes, before the park ranger would say, okay, everyone out,
Yeah.
because it's a beach where there's turtle nesting and stuff like that. So they close it at 4. And he brought up, why don't you make it a movie? And here is someone you should contact. So that was pretty cool, and manifesting something. Also, I've been asked to go to New York City to speak at Columbia University, which I will do before the end of the year. And I am speaking on my spiritual fiction. So that I know will reach a wide audience. And you never know who would be listening. And of course, it's going to be replayed. It's a live presentation, but it will be something. It's with Blue Talks, which is business, life, and the universe. So I can talk about spirituality with my book, God Came to My Garage Sale. It's really like TED Talks. You know what a TED Talk is?
Yep.
So TED Talks meets Chicken Soup for the Soul. That's how this program is described. So I was asked a couple years ago to speak at Columbia, but the travel was, just didn't work out. But now it's working out. So between following through on this priest's suggestion to contact a particular individual and speaking at Columbia, I think I'm doing some action steps to try to make this happen.
I love it. I love it. Ah, that's so refreshing. I'm like so confident for you that it's going to happen
Oh
because
my gosh, wonderful. Well, I feel pretty good about it too.
there we go. There we
And
go.
if it doesn't happen, I'm cool with that too. This book has already won a lot of awards. It won the 2022 Hollywood Book Fest Award. I'm runner up from just a few weeks ago. It's won the 2020 Best Books Award put on by the American Book Fest. I was a finalist there. It won a 5-star reader's favorite award. So, I mean, if the movie doesn't happen, I'm still good. It's already resonated with some people, and that wasn't the goal of it. The goal of it was just to write about these experiences. Even though it's a spiritual fiction, it's inspired by all true events and experiences. So even if the movie doesn't happen, I think I'll continue to live a beautiful life.
I love it.
But it would be really cool if the movie would happen.
So cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, now we have our final series of questions. And
Okay.
I didn't send these beforehand, so they're kind of some surprise questions. So if you don't want to answer any of the ones that I asked, feel free to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna pass on that. I don't feel like answering.
Okay.
Cool. The first question is, what is one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life?
The limiting belief.
If any. There's an if any for
No. Don't you think we all have limiting beliefs?
I do, but some people like to say they don't.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty normal. So a limiting belief. A limiting belief is that some people in my life will not see the truth, and that their light bulb won't go on and they'll continue to live in a false reality. So that's kind of limiting, when really I'd like to be positive and say, hey, their light bulb will go on, truth will prevail,
Yeah.
goodness will follow. But I sometimes doubt that sometimes when I think about reality and I think about, the situation that these two particular people I'm thinking about are in, that, maybe I need to give them more benefit of the doubt, that really they know the truth and it'll come when it's time for them in their journey.
I love that. Where do you think the limiting belief comes from?
I would think that, I had years and years of gaslighting where I was, even though I was accomplished and successful and thought I was pretty, together and capable, I was in a relationship where I was gaslit to believe that I wasn't seeing things like I thought I was, or that I wasn't as capable, or I didn't have the abilities. And so I think I have a foundation of that, not only with a relationship that I escaped from after almost 3 decades, but also my childhood, experiences and my own family situation where I believe that there's gaslighting going on. So I think the limiting beliefs come from some external, some external forces that I'm really focusing on and working on to realize, hey, you know, I I am capable. I do have the ability. I know what I saw. I I know the truth.
Yeah.
And not to question my reality because I know the reality. But I was made for many years to believe that I didn't really, you know, see it.
Mm. And for those of us who don't know, can you define gaslighting?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, gaslighting is a strategy that is usually intentional by someone who wants to control and is into power and wants to manipulate. It can almost be a game for someone. But gaslighting is where little by little you are made to kind of question yourself or what you see. Like you might see someone cheating with another person, but they will tell you, no, 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 you didn't see that. That wasn't what you saw.
Mm.
When really you know what you saw. Gaslighting actually comes from the 1944 movie called Gaslighting, where one of the spouses was just trying to drive the other spouse crazy, hiding keys, turning down the gas lights. That was before the regular electricity or whatever. But the person was slowly just questioning their abilities or questioning what they knew, when really the perpetrator of it was doing things intentionally just to play with them.
Yeah.
But usually there's a malevolent intention where, they're trying to isolate you. They're trying to, get you under their thumb with control and manipulation and power and that kind of thing. That's what's underlying. But gaslighting is where, you know, like some phrases. Let me just tell you some phrases that are typically used for gaslighting, like, you didn't see that right, or you are mistaken, or I never said that, or if I said that, I didn't mean that,
Mm.
that type of thing.
Yeah,
So, yeah. So that's what gaslighting is.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I appreciate that explanation.
Yeah.
What actions do you still do to this day, if any, that reinforce this limiting belief that some people in your life aren't going to see the truth? The light bulb will never come on for them. Are there any actions that you do day to day that reinforce that?
That reinforce it. Gosh, that's a really good question. Um, I would say it's the lack of actions that reinforce it.
Yeah.
So not the actions, but because I choose not to approach these two individuals to try to speed along the light bulb moments, I'm contributing, but I have very good reason not to approach, because I really believe that, sometimes people need to come to conclusions and awareness on their own. That, what I can do through my writing, through my speaking, is bring awareness to various things. Instead of, in your face, this is something you need to learn to know to make your light bulb go on. So I would say, to answer your question, it's more what I'm not doing.
Mm.
That's contributing, but I still feel that's the way to approach, is really, I can't control what other people do, nor do I want to. I can only control myself. So, at some point, someone else has to decide and take a step forward or not.
Yeah.
So there may not be resolution. There may not be light bulb moments. A lifetime can come and go, and there can be unresolved situations. And, I have to live with that. I have to live with the realization that we're all on a journey. We're all at different levels of our evolving, whether it's emotionally or spiritually. And, you can't push a rope.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. There we go. Well, now we're going to go away from limiting beliefs into abundant beliefs. So, how can you reframe that limiting belief to be an abundant belief? And what actions and thoughts would you have sprouting from that belief?
Well, let me answer the last part first, because I believe it's all about love.
Mm.
I believe that love is the highest vibration, and that through my actions, through my words, through my writing, I am living, um, living my belief that love is the answer to so many different things. So, our thoughts really control our actions. Our actions control our behaviors, and you know, and in turn, that could actually control our destiny, our future. So I come from a place of compassion and love and light and forgiveness and, you know, um, truth. Though I come from, I, I believe that truth and honesty is very important. And I also have benefited a lot from research and knowledge as a lifelong learner, a teacher for so many years. Um, I'm someone who's always wanted to learn and to grow. So I guess to answer the first part is to continue to grow, to continue to learn and expand my horizons, but act, all my actions should be from a place, and they are from a place of just love and light and goodness.
There we go. I love it. And we got one last question for you.
Yeah.
So there's a common saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So I actually talked to somebody named Dr. Alan Leica. He was a guest on the show. And he said that you can make a horse drink. You just have to salt its oats. Now, I want you to think of a person with a fixed mindset. They're not willing to accept help, and they're not willing to accept change. How can we, you and I, create an environment? Because like you said earlier, we can't change people. We can't make their decisions for them.
Right.
But how can we create an environment to salt their oats and help them change their life?
I think that actions speak louder than words. So I'm a big believer that we should role model, be the change. Someone else famous said this, but be the change that you want to see in the world. So role model the goodness, role model the actions, speak the truth from a place of compassion and love. And that is how I think you can salt the oats, is through your actions and through being a role model.
I love it. Well, awesome. Marni, thank you so much for coming on the show. That's all we have for you.
Oh, well, Tim, thank you so much for having me. I feel very blessed that our paths crossed, and I'm living the dream in so many ways, but just like everyone else, I'm human. I've gone through a lot of challenges, but I think our mindset, and then like you talk about actionable steps, you combine those two and you're on your way to greatness.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
right there with you. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, it's just congratulations to you and
Thank
your
you.
fiance, and best wishes.
Thank
And
you.
continue to do what you are doing, because your platform's pretty cool. You are spreading amazing messages, and the conversations you're having with people from all over the world, all different topics. It's got to be very exciting. So, I think it's pretty cool what you're doing. And so thank you for having this platform and for the interest in having me come on your platform. And what's the name of the movie you're going to go watch?
Harry Met Sally. When Harry Met
When
Sally?
Harry Met Sally. Yes. Okay. All right. Good.
There
So
we
you
go.
have an actionable step towards laughter, even though you seem like someone who doesn't need to have a movie to get a good laugh in, but I think you'll really enjoy it.
I think I will too. I've heard good things about it. That's why I knew you were making
Yeah.
a reference.
Yeah. No, it's a good date night movie too.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Well, awesome. If you guys are listening to this and you loved what Dr. Marni had to say, make sure to check her book out, buy it, maybe for your book club. And if you happen to know any screenwriters, movie producers, or directors, make sure to connect them. As we Actually, no, we're switching up our outro. So thank you guys for coming and listening to the show, and we hope to see you next time. On that note, we're out.